Hey everyone, I'm your host Josh, and you're listening to the Bat Cave where we talk about movies for everyone. So if you haven't already, make sure to follow me on Spotify so you can stay up to date on new and upcoming episodes. You can also follow me on Instagram and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and your support is highly appreciated, so thank you. So in this episode, we'll be covering the movie King Richard. So it came out this year in November, and it's rated PG-13. So the cast of this movie has Will Smith, who plays Richard Williams, and Demi Singleton, which plays Serena Williams, and then Sanaya Sidney, which plays Venus Williams, and then John Bernthal plays their coach, Rick Machi. So the director of the movie, I'm not really familiar with his work, but I know he's been working on movies for quite some time now. I know he's going to do a new movie called Joe Bell with Mark Wahlberg. It looks really good. But his name is Reynaldo Marcus Green. The music composer is Chris Bowers. Not familiar with their work, but this one, it really shined, and it really, complemented this story and every scene in the movie. So the synopsis of this movie, it's the story and the upbringing and rise of tennis star legends Venus and Serena Williams, and how their mother and father led them to a better future. And, by strong commitment, focusing on getting out of Compton and reaching their dreams. So the first look and the first time I saw this trailer, right off the bat, Will Smith's acting was once again authentic and just real. You could it pops out of the screen when you're watching it. And the trailer, it shows a lot of familiar faces and great cast all around with some intense scenes like filled with drama, conflict, challenges, and some shots of the sisters tennis training and competing. Some strong one-liners throughout this trailer and some funny moments as well. So the trailer was good. And then some fun facts about this movie. So the Williams family were deeply involved in the film and made sure it was as accurate and true to the real story as possible, just to show the audience what they didn't show in the media and how they portrayed them as a family. And especially Richard Williams, which Will Smith plays, which at that time the media portrayed him real like much differently. So the actual Williams sisters, they actually, really opened up to the actors that were playing them, and they talked about like previous ex-boyfriends they've been with, like just having girl talk, being very transparent. So they weren't even talking about tennis at first. They were just opening up and just connecting. And just so the actors can get, to know the actual characters that they're going to play in the movie a lot better. So a detailed dive of this movie, I just want to get into why it's good. So I mean, they honor the characters, they do them justice because they portray what happened and show who they all were as a family and the actual sacrifices they made to stand tall, fighting through and just surviving in Compton, California until they moved to Florida, which changed their lives. So they show the true side to their dad, Richard, portrayed who he was and his relentless love he had for his family and how he never gave up on them and believed in them. So when everyone else, and even when they didn't believe in themselves, he believed in them. And the love in that, it's powerful and it's inspiring. I mean, Will Smith portrayed Richard Williams' character amazing. Easily one of his best performances by far. And that goes for the Williams sisters and the rest of the cast and their dedication to portray the real life characters and as best and accurate as they could. So this movie was moving and proved, life's challenges and adversity isn't final and doesn't conquer in one's life regardless of how heavy times get. So that was really inspiring and really touching about this movie. It really, I'm sure it inspired everyone that watched it. It's a great story. It dives deep into the family's life, not just the two sisters. So I mean, I honestly enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend this movie to everyone, actually, to anyone that is curious about it. So some plot twists. I mean, if you know the character story based on following them and being dedicated fans, then you may not see many plot twists. But if you do know about the family from the media and the Williams sisters, then yes, there are a few plot twists that steer the characters in a direction that you really don't expect. And a few memorable moments that come to mind, probably when Richard is training and mentoring his girls, and how he teaches and raises them for life, and also for tennis playing, of course. And throughout, I mean, how well the characters portray the sisters and how well they play the sport on screen. And also, Richard disciplines the girls, and the way that he disciplines them and like how he shines his love for them is touching. And I mean, that's throughout the movie, and especially during a scene where he shares with two of the sisters as to why he makes certain decisions for them and his true intentions for their own good, regardless of the offers they receive from outside the family or anybody saying like basically offering them the world, but he teaches them not to jump to conclusions and say yes right away to certain people, especially when it comes to getting into the tennis world and into the sport and signing contracts and stuff like that. He really teaches them how to stand their ground and not basically go with whatever offer that gets thrown in their face. And then when the sisters rise up the ladder, I mean, playing and competing against more challenging players, that's another highlight for sure. And their journey throughout that, especially being young girls. And the costume design, I mean, the family, they played another huge part in costume design to keep it most accurate. Even the windbreaker Will Smith wore in one of the scenes were literally an exact replica of what Richard wore in real life. So the costume design and wardrobes resembled and matched almost exactly. And the music score, I mean, it was a good music score, kept the audience engaged and complemented the scenes of inspiration, tension, and joy. So they did a really good job with that. And, basically mixing well with the movie, with the actual movie, because the music, it's very important. It plays a big part in how the movie will kind of unfold its story. So, regarding the box office, so gross income that this movie has made so far, since it's still racking up its income, it has made 16 million so far and counting. And then the production cost, which is their budget, they basically spent about $50 million. Wow, that's a lot. And then the critic reviews, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 91%. So that's shocking. It deserves that rating, but coming from Rotten Tomatoes, that's definitely shocking that they give it such a high rating. It's really hard to to get a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And then Metacritic, it gave it a 76%. Okay, that's pretty low. And then the fan reviews, they gave it a 4.7 out of 5. So that makes, yeah, that sounds about right. So my expectations of this movie, I had high expectations since Will Smith is such a great actor and a great overall cast. The movie and advertisement for the movie was widely spread, so I knew this movie would be good based on the trailer and how much it was advertised. Some unexpected outcomes I had. I mean, I didn't expect this movie to be as touching and inspiring as it really was, and I expected it to be good, and it actually came out a lot better than I thought. Some scenes surprised me regarding plot twists and just suspenseful situations where things turned out in a dark and tense situation, basically. But also, tough and tense situations ended up diffusing. So I had some relief afterwards. So is this rewatchable? This movie is definitely rewatchable. I mean, it's original. It's interesting for the entire movie. It never gets boring. So this is definitely a movie that's easy to watch multiple times. And is this movie for kids? I mean, this movie is mainly for mature audiences. I mean, some violence and themes are not really for kids. So definitely not recommended for little kids to watch this. And then this movie's message, what I got, I mean, family is definitely the focus of this movie and persevering together as one regardless of the circumstances. And regardless of what the world brings to your table, the movie and the Williams family inspires the audience watching this to focus on hope, to focus on family, love, and loving each other and not being a sellout to the first opportunity that opens up for you. This movie influences us to evaluate and really think about whatever someone offers you, even if it has a large sum of money attached to that offer. If your drive is money, go for it. But I mean, the family's drive was not just being more wealthy in their pockets, especially considering where they come from, but also doing what they love and to honor and represent every African American little girl in the world and people from all backgrounds at that time and across the world. So, proving no matter where you come from or how hard your life or circumstances seem to be, that you can make it and rise above it. And it's basically a slap to the face to this naysayer world we live in, basically. So that's what I got out of it. And I mean, is this movie relatable to me or my life? I mean, I think I think anyone can relate to their family's story since we're all humans that face everyday challenges, whether you're from Beverly Hills or Compton. Everyone has challenges and hardships in one form or another. So, the way they get through that hardship and adversity comes from a great parent or a great mentor or teacher, which was their dad Richard and the mom Brandy Williams. So I believe our mentors and the people we look up to can lead and inspire us on how we make our daily decisions, especially in the midst of hardship and challenges. I actually got emotional in this movie when one of the Williams sisters and their dad Richard has a disagreement, and he reveals why he is the way he is with them and why he isn't allowing a certain opportunity to happen for them. It's pretty moving and shows just how much he loves his family and more specifically his girls. I mean, and what he would do to protect them and shield them from evil. Like, I don't know what it is. I mean, there's certain actors, like especially Will Smith. He knows how to really dig deep into emotional like acting scenes, or just when it comes to high emotion, he's really powerful in his performances. Like, I know from the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, that scene where his dad walks out on him again, and then Uncle Phil is there to kind of support him, and and then Will kind of snaps, and he just kind of just feels like he's not wanted. So then when Will breaks down and starts to express himself, it's so transparent and real that you literally feel like they're not acting anymore. Like it literally looks like you're just witnessing something really sad in real life. So that part in The Fresh Prince, sometimes I'll go back to it just to see how good the acting is of Will Smith when he breaks down and he's heartbroken from his dad. Like he's like a deadbeat and he just like bails on Will because it's convenient. He just thinks about himself basically, his dad in the show. And the way like Will gets heartbroken, that breaks my heart. So it really gets to me. I'm not ashamed to say it, but I tear up sometimes when I see that scene because it's just like heartbreaking and it's so like real. It's just so real. Like Will Smith's acting is so transparent. It's so like heavy in a good way. It's just his acting skills, his emotions have a lot of weight to it. So that's a good example as to, why this probably got me emotional. It was probably Will himself. The way he like shined his love to his daughter, letting her know, like, I'm not trying to be the bad guy here, not giving you what you want, trying to protect you, trying to protect you from these evil people that they may have, bad intentions, and they're not really thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves and their gain, not yours. He's basically telling her in the movie, I'm thinking about your gain because you're my baby and you always will be. So that really was touching. But moving on, yeah. So my overall review, this movie has a great cast. I mean, they honored the family and also made this movie very accurate to what the family actually went through in their life. So the family was very involved, in how the production team told their story and really shows on screen. And everyone played a part. And although this is a movie about the Williams sisters initially, it's also a movie about their family and basically their whole story, not just the two sisters. And it's a great story with a lot of emotion and definitely doesn't disappoint and never gets boring or slow. So it's a constant drama, funny, emotional, and inspiring movie. And then one sentence to think of on the spot that sums up this movie for me.
A movie that makes you feel happy, sad, and inspired all at the same time.
So there you have it. And the overall rating I give this movie, I give it a 9.7 out of 10. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any requests on what you'd like me to cover next, go ahead and submit them on my Instagram at the_Batcave_podcast or my YouTube channel. And thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next time on the Batcave.